in Charles in Pennsylvania. Welcome to the Bill Cunningham Show.
Glad to be on.
Yes, sir.
I'm a retired commander from the Naval Reserve, and I'm one of the people who has filed a lawsuit against Obama and the U.S. Congress. And I called to help clarify this birth announcement in the newspaper that you challenge people to prove how that was done.
Right.
It's the old, and the data point, garbage in, garbage out. That news account in the newspapers was generated by the registration of his birth in the birth registration system. They automatically generated a list once a week, and it was distributed to two newspapers to be published, all the births that week. So it was an automatic process triggered by the registration of the birth. Now, I believe that he was registered as being born in Hawaii, but was not born there. If you investigate the laws in Hawaii, you could register a birth with a mail order form.
Right.
All the mother or grandmother had to do was fill out that form, sign it, saying he was born at home with no witnesses, mail it in. The birth registration officer would record the birth. There would be a vital record created, and that would automatically he would be on that list that week. And the newspaper announcement would list his name.
And you know, that's a good explanation I heard. And if you go to worldnetdaily.com tonight, they have
I'm aware of that.
Yeah, and they got a new posting, and that it is very possible that the grandparents of Barack Hussein Obama on August the 9th, 1961, caused to be put in that newspaper the announcement of the birth from Kenya because they were proud of the fact their daughter had a kid.
Well, she didn't cause it directly. She caused it indirectly by filing the registration for her daughter. She did that to get her grandson U.S. citizenship. She was a shrewd lady, that the mother of Obama's
Stanley
mother.
Ann Dunham.
She was a shrewd lady, and she knew it was very simple in Hawaii to get U.S. citizenship for anybody, basically, but for a newborn, all you had to do was fill out this mail order form.
And the reason was in 1959, Hawaii became a state, and in 61, anyone could simply say, I was present, I was born there. They had no records before 59, and anyone could get a birth certificate, but I still want to see the long-form birth certificate with the hospital and the doctor.
It won't show a hospital and a doctor because she's going to say that he was born at home with no witnesses. That's what they're hiding.
Well, right now, Obama had sent a letter to one of the two hospitals in Honolulu saying in a letter about 3 months ago acknowledging that he was born in that hospital.
But that letter was retracted immediately, and the White House, Gibbs, will not acknowledge that Obama created that letter. It's been proven by WND.com and other researchers that that letter was a fabricated letter. It was not even a scanned image on the Internet when it was first posted and up there for 6 months.
Do you believe, Charles, that he's an American citizen?
No. I believe that he was born in Kenya. His birth was registered in Hawaii. There is a vital record there, and all the statements being made by the Hawaiian officials are based on that vital record, that vital record was created by a forgery by the grandmother, a false testimony by the grandmother and mother saying he was born there when he was born in Kenya, and they registered the birth there, and that's why there is a vital record there. But the vital record is going to show no witnesses of the birth, none. So it's going to add strength to the corroborating. It's going to provide no corroborating evidence independently verifiable in Hawaii, but it will reinforce the statements in Kenya that the grandmother over there said he was born there.
Right. I'm looking.
Let me ask. Can I address the point about McCain? Why you didn't bring it up?
Sure. And also Clinton.
Yes. I'll go with McCain first. There are two steps of being a natural-born citizen, not a citizen. First, you got to be born in America. But then you also have to be born of two U.S. citizens, whether those citizens are naturalized or born here themselves. McCain could not go after Obama, and he accepted Obama's statement that he was born and registered that he was born in Hawaii. But he didn't want, if he went after Obama too deep and disqualified Obama for being born in Kenya, all right, Obama was going to come back at him for being born in Panama and knock him out.
But the United States Senate acknowledged that as the son of a naval officer born in Panama, that McCain was eligible to run for the American presidency. The U.S. Senate
They did the investigation and passed that resolution after an executive session in private at which McCain, they made a Faustian pact that you keep quiet, we'll give you this resolution. But McCain was born off the military base in Panamanian soil at a civilian hospital. That resolution says he was born in a military base hospital. That hospital did not exist in 1936.
Why now? What about Clintonistas? Why didn't Bill and Hillary Clinton go?
Clinton, I believe, was bought off. I think she was going to go nuclear at the DNC convention and reveal this, but she was bought off. Money. I think that was the solution. That's what. Well,
she had more money. I don't think Hillary Clinton willingly gave up the American presidency for money when Bubba made $15 million last year.
But how much is he going to make when she's the Secretary of State?
He's making millions and millions. Yeah. But I think the Clintonistas, if it was in fact true he was born in Kenya, they had the resources to leak that.
They didn't know it for sure, that there wasn't a smoking gun like WND has just found. They were going by the vital records in Hawaii just like everybody else is. The vital records exist saying he was born there, but they're fraudulent. They're false.
Why doesn't Obama simply release the long-form birth certificate?
Because there's nothing on there to corroborate independently he was born in Hawaii. You're going to see a statement saying he was born at home with no witnesses, signed by the grandmother or the mother, and it was mailed into the registration office. That's all you're going to see.
Well, you know, Charles, if this is true, this will be the biggest story in the history of America.
It will. You got to be a natural-born citizen. I don't believe Obama is even a citizen because of the false registration of his birth in Hawaii. But to be a natural-born citizen, both parents must be citizens and you must be born on the soil of the USA. That is the ancient and common law definition up until the Constitution was written. It was codified in a book called The Law of Nations by Vattel in 1758. But anyway, my lawsuit is on both. He has to prove he's born in Hawaii, and he has to justify how he can have a father who was never an immigrant to this country, never a citizen, never even a permanent resident, how he can therefore be considered a natural-born citizen.
Well, Charles, if this is true, this is the biggest news story in American history.
Yes, it will be.
And 100 American cities might burn.
If that happens, he will be the one causing it. We have to defend the Constitution. I took an oath to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. So help me God. And I'm standing as one. I happen to be a natural-born citizen, but one citizen standing to support that oath. I believe that oath. I served 33 years, and we're a nation of laws, not of charismatic men. If we lose the Constitution,
we're done.
We're done.
Charles, you listen next Sunday night. I'm going to follow this. I'm going to see if Joseph Farrell.
Can I mention my website?
Quickly, go ahead.
www.protectourliberty.org. That's protectourliberty.org, and you can link there to my lawyer, who has all kinds of information there on this and the latest court documents. And there's going to be a decision tomorrow in Camden Court by the judge on my case.
Protectourliberty.org. And Charles, thank you. Let's see what happens. Let's continue with more. 54 minutes after this hour, Bill Cunningham, A Great American. I Am Becoming a Birther. Sunday Night Live with Bill Cunningham. Check out what my friend Charles from Pennsylvania is stating at worldnetdaily.com, WND.com, about the Kenyan birth certificate. And we'll see where this thing goes. It would be the biggest story in the world, in fact, the biggest story in the history of the world, and one of the greatest frauds ever perpetrated upon the American people with the complete complicity of the national media. So let's get back together next Sunday night. We'll see you then. Billy Cunningham live with you as I am every Sunday night.